Hey everyone, welcome to Fix It in the Grass. Today we're going to be working on old Goose here. Goose seems to be a little temperamental and wants to run a little hot. So we'll get you introduced on over to her and then we'll jump right into it and I'll show you the best way to get the coolant system flushed, get it drained out and get a new radiator installed. I've already threw in a new water pump, new thermostat. It's got pretty new hoses on it. So we'll just go from there, see if we can get this thing cooled down. Let's get started. Alright, so Goose here is a 1989 Dodge D100. She's a little bit crusty. She's been a farm truck since new. Pretty low mileage on this unit. It's not as pretty as I would like, but that's going to change soon. Got the short bed on her. Gooseneck hitch, obviously, hence the name Goose. We're going to put some paint on this girl and fix her up nice. She's just going to be a nice good daily. So we've got a bone stock 318 in this unit. It's got a little bit of exhaust work. Other than that, this thing's completely stock. This is the early stages of the fuel injection on this model. It's also got anti-lock brakes, air conditioning that does work. And it's going to be a really good daily, I believe. Gets pretty good fuel mileage. Overdrive. Never had that before. Alright, so this is a pretty simple swap here on the radiator. What we're going to do is there's 4 bolts here on each side. We're going to pull the fan off, get the radiator shroud out of the way, get the hoses off. Make sure you have something to catch your coolant in. You don't want to throw that down on the grass and poison any animals. So make sure you catch that, dispose of it in a good place, and we'll get the belts off and we'll get started on this thing. We've got quite a few restoration parts over here. Show you that. We've got a new radiator there, just boxes upon boxes of a little bit of just stock replacement parts. Got a good set of shocks there, and I'll bring you guys along for the fix up on this one. Alright guys, so just a quick update. I've got the fan shroud off, the radiator hoses off, pulled the trans cooler lines off, and now we're just going to unbolt the radiator and slap her out of there, and we'll be right back to it before you know it. Alright, so let's start the unboxing of this guy. Right off the top, we've got fittings for the cooler there. Alright. She looks like just like the other one. Plastic tanks on this unit. It's not really the best in the world, but it is new and the cord should not be stopped up. So let's go ahead, throw this thing in, and we'll put the trans lines on there, and I'll start the truck, drive it maybe 10 feet, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a bucket, put it under the lower radiator hose, and I'm going to take my hose pipe and I'm just going to spray into the thermostat inlet. And what that's going to do is that's going to flush out any and all rust or dirt or anything else that might be inside the engine and the water jackets. And when that gets completely clean water coming through it, we'll hook the radiator hoses up, fill it up with coolant, and we should be good to go then. Alright guys, let's get started on it. Alright guys, so here's the old radiator here. Man, she is rough looking. I mean, let's see if I can get you in there. You can kind of see. I mean, this thing looks like it's been pumping mud for the past 20 years. So let's get this flush done and let's get the new one thrown in there, and we'll get her taken care of from there. Alright, so putting these tranny lines in, what you're going to do is, right here's your fittings, and they're going to come here and here. And if you're really worried about it, you could put it on some Teflon tape, or maybe like some gasket maker on the threads there. They are tapered though, so what we're going to do, we're just going to throw them in there and hope you don't leak. On these, you just want to run them up with your fingers till they stop. And then you want to take your wrench here and you just want to tighten them up enough to where they're snug. You don't want these things super duper tight. You will end up stripping threads or possibly even busting around the radiator. So you just want them until they stop, and then you just want to do maybe quarter to a half a turn. They'll start to feel pretty snug, and that's right where you want them. And then you're just going to come over here and you're going to repeat the process once more. Again, you do not want these to be super duper tight. I would much rather have it to be a little bit too loose and leak a little and have to get under the truck and tighten them up with my wrench than to bust the radiator and have to start all over. Alright, let's throw this thing in. Alright, got everything out of the way there, and you just want to gently kind of slide her down home, making sure to not beat up the condenser there. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're just going to slide her right back down home. Be sure not to run into anything. You don't want to bend your fins. You don't want to break off your new tranny fittings. Just want to slide her down in there easy. Alright, there she is. Now we just tighten those slotted fittings up, and the radiator will be mounted secure. And then all we got to do is flush that system out, get the hoses back on, and we should be in business. Alright, so now what we're going to do here, like I said, these bottom bolts are slotted, the top ones are not. We're just going to run those in and get them real good and tight so that she's not vibrating around, getting eat up by your brand new clutch fan that you put on the other day. That would not be fun. Maybe I didn't need to back that out so far. Alright, that's all there is to it, and you'll just do the same thing right on the other side. So I lost a little bit of trans fluid, and what you usually do is get a funnel and some trans fluid and throw in there. But if you don't got a funnel, just get your kid's cartoon placemat for on the table. Just slide her right in, work just fine. Wrap you a little bit of tape around it. I don't know exactly how low it is. I just know she was slipping a little bit earlier when I moved her. Down the hatch. Make sure to spill a whole bunch all over your engine compartment. That way you can't have nothing looking nice. That's about a half a quart. We'll throw her back in there, fire it up, let her get warm, and check on it a little bit. Got some flowage in there. I didn't really get her as clean as I thought I did. She's running pretty good. No leaks that I can find. We're gonna take her up the road in a little while. See how she does then. And I'll catch up to you then. Alright, so on our first test drive here. Seems to be doing good for right now, but we just now took off. I guess we'll catch up with you guys in a few miles, see if she's bubbling over. Alright guys, so we've been running now for about 20 minutes, probably 15 miles or so. Seems to be running cool. I did stop. We do got a little bit of a tranny line leak. So I'm going to get that thing snipped right up here in just a little while. But yeah, she's running real nice. Got her wound up about 65. We'll go to Woodward, which is about 2 counties away from where I live. I'm good.